Hi everyone, Emily here, and today I have for you my April book haul. Now I said that I was going to start slowing my spending on reading on books. That did not happen. I ended up purchasing one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 books. Um, Two were from my local library book sales. Three, did I count right? Yes, 8 books. Three were from Half Price Books. I took a carload of stuff there of like DVDs and CDs and some books. I've been working really hard this year and spring break decluttering things that I'm just like, I know I'm not going to reread. I have no desire to read or watch or listen to anymore. So I sold 4 big bags of books of things to Half Price Books, and I came away with $40, which I turned around and promptly spent. And then 3 were from Book of the Month. So I purchased one of their books of the Book of the Month and then 2 add-ons. So still have a decent book haul. However, in future months, I'm going to try to be a little bit more intentional. Some goals that I have with my purchasing is one, I want to finish getting Brandon Sanderson. Like, I've only read the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy, but I really liked it and I want to read the Cosmere. And I did purchase the hardback boxes of his Kickstarter campaign. I did not do the year of Brandon Sanderson. One, money wise, I was like, can't afford that. But two, also, I did not feel like I'd read enough to be like, I am for sure full on in the fandom. Um, so I want to make sure that I'm reading Brandon Sanderson so that way I can be ready for Stormlight 5. And then those books that come out, the Kickstarter books that are coming out next year. In addition, my goal is I need to finish out Robin Hobb in her Realm of the Elderlings. I'm in Dragon Keeper. I've got about 200 pages left of Dragon Keeper. I know people don't like the Rain Wilds. I'm enjoying it. And then 3, I do want to read some newer releases in the fantasy world. I have quite the backlog of fantasy books that I'm just like, oh man, I want to read that, I want to read that, I want to read that. Because I'm late to the fantasy world. I've been in school for so long. So I got my bachelor's. A few years after I got my bachelor's, I went back and got my master's. A few years after getting my master's, I got my LBS 1 endorsement. Then I started getting a second master's. And all of those master's degrees, my program were accelerated programs. So I was doing a semester's worth of work in the span of like a month and a half, 2 months. That did not leave much time for reading. So I would read, but I would read kind of like light, fluffy romances, cozy mysteries, um, you know, YA fiction, and they all were good. They served a purpose, but it did not leave me. My studies did not leave me much time for fantasy and for heavier, longer works. In addition, um, I thought, I don't like fantasy. Surely I don't like fantasy. I just was hesitant to delve into the realm of fantasy because the length of the books just made me nervous. And this past year, I just said, let's just try it. Like, you already like fantasy because you like Discovery Witches. That's a fantasy book. So let's just try it. Let's just see what you like. And I have fallen in love with fantasy. So now I feel like I have this huge backlog because I need to catch up. But I also don't want to miss out on the newer things. So that's kind of where my goals are. I need to be very intentional about picking and choosing the newer stuff, what I want to read, as well as catching up on the stuff that has been around for a while and that are well beloved. That being said, here is what I purchased recently. So first, I picked up Sea of Monsters at my local used bookstore. I read Lightning Thief a long time ago when it came out, when the movie was out in the movie theater. And I think I remember reading The Sea of Monsters too. So I'm trying to read through, but I never finished Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So my goal is I want to kind of binge read this hopefully over the summer. And then the books that I do have in this series, I'm going to bring to my classroom and have it in my classroom at school. The next book I also purchased at my library book sale is The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. And I have not really read any Arthurian legend. I think I was hesitant to do so because of just the scope of how much there is out there about Arthur, and not knowing which one to read first. And in watching a lot of reviewers on BookTube, they really like Bernard Cornwell, and this has been sitting at my library for a while, and I've been kind of looking at it, debating should I just go ahead and pick it up, and I decided to do so. I have no idea what I'm going to get to this book, because I have some specific series that I want to finish and different trilogies that I want to finish, but I wanted to make sure that I had this, and the copy looks pretty much brand new. So there's that. Then at Half Price Books, what I picked up The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan. This is the 5th book in the Wheel of Time. I still have to read The Great Hunt. I'm thinking probably the summertime is when I'm going to be able to plow a little bit more into the Wheel of Time. And yes, it's one of those awful mass market paperbacks, but I figure with Wheel of Time, I don't know how many times I'll read it. I might only read it once, and so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. And this is about maybe $5. And for what I'm reading it for, it suits its purpose. And then I also picked up at Half Price Books The Witch's Heart, and yes, part of this was a cover by. So I am not, because the cover is just gorgeous, and this is by Genevieve Gornichek, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because I feel like it's all over BookTube. But the reason why I purchased it is because it is a newer release, so I hope to read it and eventually do a review on this. And also, I haven't read much Norse mythology. I'm not a Marvel comics movie fan, so like Thor, I have not seen. Loki, I don't know too much about, other than I think he's the brother of Thor. I could be wrong. I know, I'm weird, okay? Again, I like, instead of watching the Marvel movies, I watch my Jane Austen and my period piece dramas, okay? But this, to me, looked very interesting, and the cover's just gorgeous. And then I also purchased Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last year, and I loved it. I thought her writing style is just so lyrical and beautiful. This book is about Olive. Is it Olive or Olivia? Olivia Pryor. And she cannot speak. So she's born with the inability to speak. And she is raised in an orphanage. Her mother, though, left behind a diary. And she has been grown up reading her mother's diary. And one day she gets a letter from her uncle and invites her to come and live at the family's home, which is Gallant. And so she goes and she travels to this home, and there's a big mystery behind this house. You can see I've already started reading it. I'm on page 64, and I am enjoying it. I'm a little nervous because I've heard a description that this is a horror fantasy, and I'm not a big horror fan. So, but so far I'm enjoying her very lyrical writing style, and I'm curious to know what the mystery behind this house is. And then from Book of the Month, I'm totally going to butcher this name. I got Kekai, totally butchered that name, by Vaishnavi Patel. Please tell me how to pronounce these names in the comments below if I completely butchered the name. I apologize. And this is, from what I understand, is a retelling. And so she is the only daughter of the kingdom of Kekai. She is raised on tales of the gods, how they churn the vast ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquish evil and ensure the land of prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the worthy. Um, Yet she watches as her father ceremoniously banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to the marriage alliance she can secure, and when she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. So, um, I've heard some good things about this book. The cover is beautiful, but more importantly, I heard some good things and was just intrigued to have a fantasy novel from a culture different from like the European culture. So um, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to read this. Don't know when I'll read it, but it looks like it's going to be a good read. And then I also purchased Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. And this is going to fulfill, oh, sorry, I'm trying to chase the light here. This will fulfill a prompt on the Pop Sugar Challenge where it's like something set on a train, a plane, or a cruise. And I purchased it because the movie is out on streaming services, and I don't want to watch the movie until I read the book. So there's that. And then I also picked up Piranesi by Susanna Clark. Now, I have not read her other novel, like, I'm not going to remember it. I know it's Mr. Norrell, Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell, I want to say it's called. At any rate, I was hesitant towards this book. It is a nice shorter read. I was hesitant towards it, but I've heard so many wonderful things about it that I decided to add it into my box. So those are my purchases this month, my haul. Up on the plate that I'm reading right now, I am reading The Lioness Rampant by Tamora Pierce. I've got to fit that in. I'm hoping to finish that today for the Ramathon. It's their Peace Talks 48-hour reading 48-hour reading marathon. So I'm hoping to finish that to get another book in. I've got Dragon Keeper. I'm working on Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. And of course, Gallant. Gallant I've taken with me to school to read during one of my classes. So yeah, happy reading, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let me know what you're reading in the comments. Let me know some of your thoughts on the books that I have picked up, what I should read next. And as always, please like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.